I'm Jake, 34 years old, living in a two-bedroom apartment in North Seattle, waking up every morning to the echo of silence that used to be filled with the sound of little feet and sleepy good mornings. This isn't a story I ever thought I'd tell, let alone post online, but after everything that's happened, I guess I just need someone to listen. Or maybe I just need to get it out. I used to have it all. At least that's what I thought. A wife I adored, two beautiful kids, and a decent job as a software engineer. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. The kind of family you see in a Target ad. Laughing over pancakes, messy hair and morning light through the kitchen window. That was us. That was real. Sarah and I met at a startup mixer. She was working in marketing, smart, driven, with this smile that made you forget your own name. I wasn't the smoothest guy, but I made her laugh, and that counted for something. We got married after 2 years, had Lily and then Noah. For a while, we were good. Great even. We'd watch trash TV at night, take the kids to Discovery Park on weekends, argue over the dumbest things like who left the dishwasher open. But never in a mean way. Then she started working for Daniel Carter. If you're from Seattle and pay any attention to the tech scene, you've heard the name. CEO of Centec, multimillionaire, regular on those top 40 under 40 lists. The kind of guy who wears a suit that costs more than your car but talks like he's just one of the guys. I didn't think much of it at first. Sarah got hired as a senior marketing strategist. Big deal, good paycheck, fancy office. I was proud of her. But things changed fast. She started coming home later. At first, it was team dinners or campaign meetings. Then it was, he needs me to fly to LA, or I have to work this weekend. And it wasn't just the time. It was her. The woman who used to grocery shop in sweatpants started wearing designer everything. She stopped packing lunches for the kids and started posting selfies with captions like, Boss Babe Energy, and asterisk, manifesting luxury. Asterisk, she traded bedtime stories for influencer brunches. I tried to talk to her, told her I felt like I was losing her, that the kids missed her. She'd roll her eyes and say I was being insecure, that I should be happy for her. Then came the texts. It was a Tuesday night. She was in the shower, and her phone buzzed on the counter. I wasn't trying to snoop, I swear, but the message preview lit up the screen. Last night was incredible. I can still smell you on me. My stomach dropped. I opened the thread. Dozens of messages. Flirty, explicit, even photos. And not just from him. She replied with equal enthusiasm. I confronted her. She didn't deny the messages, couldn't, really. But she did deny the affair. Said it was just texting. That I was blowing things out of proportion. That it was my jealousy causing problems. Let me pause here and say, I wanted to believe her. I didn't want to be that guy, the bitter husband reading too much into things. So I backed off. I buried it. I told myself maybe she was just confused. 1 month later, she handed me divorce papers. No conversation. No counseling. Just cold paperwork on the kitchen counter next to the cereal boxes. She wanted primary custody of both kids and 80% of our joint assets. She'd hired one of the top divorce attorneys in the city. Surprise, surprise, whose retainer alone probably cost more than I made in a month. Apparently, Daniel had helped her connect with the right people. The court battle was hell. I tried to fight back, but compared to her legal dream team, my modest little firm looked like amateurs. She painted me as controlling, emotionally unstable, and this one still makes me laugh bitterly, unsupportive of her career. Despite everything, I thought I'd at least get 50-50 custody. But nope. The court gave her primary custody. I see Lily and Noah every other weekend. And even then, they're always rushed, tired, like they're being dragged between two worlds. 3 months after the ink on the divorce was dry, she posted an engagement photo on Instagram. Her in a white designer dress on a yacht. Daniel holding her waist. Captioned, when you know, you know. Hashtag Forever Carter, asterisk asterisk. My friends sent it to me like, dude, WTF? I just stared at it for a long time. Didn't even feel anger at first. Just nothing. But that didn't last long. Anger came. then bitterness, then shame. Not just because she left me for another man, but because she used me, used our family as a stepping stone. Because I let her walk away with everything. I lost my house, my kids, my pride. And she's living it up in a glass mansion with a personal chef and a Tesla fleet while posting about how hard work pays off. You want the truth? It's not that I can't move on. It's that I won't. Not until I make things right. Not with fire. Not with fists. But with something she never saw coming. My mind. Because I know Sarah. I know Daniel. And I know that behind their filtered life, there are cracks. Cracks I plan to widen until the whole damn thing falls apart. After the divorce, I didn't cry. Not when the judge ruled in her favor. Not when the kids packed up their stuff to move into Daniel Carter's 7-bedroom mansion with Sarah. Not even when I saw the photo she posted 3 months later. Her in a white dress, standing beside the man who destroyed our family, captioned, asterisk, forever started with you. Asterisk. No, I didn't cry, but I did break. I lost 15 pounds in 3 weeks. Stopped answering calls. Canceled plans. Spent my nights drinking cheap bourbon and staring at the bedroom wall, wondering how the hell everything fell apart so fast. 1 minute, I'm tucking Lily into bed, listening to Noah explain how spaceships work. The next, I'm alone in a place that doesn't smell like them, doesn't sound like them, doesn't feel like home. But the thing about hitting rock bottom is, once you've been there long enough, you start to see things clearly. And I saw one thing very clearly. They didn't win. Not yet. Asterisk asterisk. I'm not proud of what I did next, but I don't regret it either. This wasn't about jealousy anymore. It wasn't about Sarah sleeping with her boss, or about Daniel swooping in like some white knight billionaire. It was about justice, about taking back control, about showing my kids that their dad didn't just roll over and let the world spit on him. So I started planning. Quietly, precisely. Step 1, rebuild. If I was going to strike back, I couldn't do it from the ground. I needed leverage, skills, a new identity. So I quit my old job, the one I'd clung to like a life raft. Instead, I started freelancing. Tech consulting for small startups, especially ones that hated Syntech, Daniel's company, with a passion. I didn't reveal anything personal. I just listened, learned, connected the dots. And I got paid. Not much at first, but enough. At night, while other people were scrolling TikTok or watching Netflix, I was studying. Finance, corporate law, digital forensics. Every Reddit thread, every obscure YouTube lecture. I consumed it all. I didn't want revenge. I wanted precision. Step 2. Expose the cracks. Asterisk asterisk. You see, the perfect couple that Sarah and Daniel portrayed online? It was a lie. One carefully curated Instagram post at a time. But behind that glossy smile, Sarah was still Sarah. And I knew her. I knew her routines, her patterns, her weak spots. Like how she hated waking up before 9. How she couldn't stand dealing with the kids unless a nanny was around. How she called Lily dramatic and Noah too clingy. I called our old nanny, Beth. She had quit right before the wedding. I asked her why. Beth sighed and said, because I couldn't stand watching those kids get ignored while your ex played dress up for Instagram. That was all I needed. I offered to pay her, not to lie but to tell the truth. She agreed. Over coffee, she gave me pages of notes. Missed doctor appointments, school events Sarah blew off, Noah showing up to preschool with bruises from falling, because no one was watching him, and Lily crying about how mommy only hugs me when there's a camera. I documented everything. Dates, times, patterns. I even got a voice recording where Sarah called Noah F*** and he burden when she thought Beth had left the room. I didn't send any of it to CPS. Not yet. Step 3. Find Daniel's Achilles heel. This part took time. Months, actually. Daniel was careful, polished, all PR smiles and investor-friendly charm. But no one gets that rich without stepping on some necks. And I was determined to find the bloodstains on his Gucci shoes. Through one of the freelance gigs, I got to know a guy, let's call him Marcus, who had previously worked in Syntech security infrastructure. He had no love for Daniel. After a few drinks, he told me Centec was experimenting with data scraping practices that might be illegal, tracking user behavior across apps without consent, manipulating ad campaigns through ghost accounts, that kind of stuff. Sounded juicy. I asked for proof. Marcus grinned and said, "You'll need to be patient. But yeah, I've got receipts." I waited 6 weeks. 6 very long weeks. In the meantime, I kept working, saving, documenting. I saw the kids every other weekend. Sarah rarely showed up for the handoff. Usually, it was a nanny or someone from their household staff. That worked in my favor. Every missed drop-off, every forgot Noah's asthma meds again, every time Lily asked me, "Why doesn't mommy come anymore?" I added it to the file. When Marcus finally came through, he handed me a USB with 3 folders labeled User Violation Reports, Shadow Ads, and Internal Memos. What I found made my hands shake. Centec was running ad campaigns targeting vulnerable users, people with mental health conditions, addiction history, even recent loss, manipulating them into clicking on high-risk financial services under the guise of self-help. They profiled people, exploited pain, and Daniel signed off on all of it. I had him. I haven't made my move yet. This post isn't about the finale, not yet. But I will. And when I do, I won't scream. I won't cry. I won't even gloat. I'll simply remind them, you don't get to destroy someone's life and walk away clean. Not when that someone is willing to burn quietly and rebuild smarter, stronger, colder. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about hurting someone back. It's about making sure they never feel safe again. They say, success is the sweetest revenge. I agree, but I wanted more than that. I wanted justice. I wanted the truth exposed. And above all, I wanted Daniel, Carter, and Sarah to peel back every flashy layer of the life they built on the ruins of mine and my kids' lives. I wasn't crazy. I just had a good memory and a lot of sleepless nights to work with. When I had enough evidence, I didn't send it to a lawyer. I sent it to the IRS, an anonymous USB drive delivered straight to the federal tax office. Inside, fake invoices recording international consulting fees from shell companies Daniel set up in the Cayman Islands. A recording from a Zoom meeting I accidentally joined, thanks to a disgruntled ex-employee who shared the link. Internal emails from a fired accountant, bluntly saying, "Asterisk, I can't keep covering this money trail." Asterisk. I also sent copies to 2 investment firms Daniel had previously screwed over, and to a financial news outlet I knew was hungry for a tech scandal. 3 weeks later, it exploded. Centec CEO under IRS investigation, accusations of tax fraud and money laundering. Front page. A picture of Daniel Carter stepping out of his car, looking like he just saw a ghost. I cracked open a cold beer and smiled for the first time in 2 years. In just 1 month, Centec's stock tanked. International partners pulled out. Daniel was suspended, then charged. Sarah? She disappeared from social media in one night. No more brunch pics with CEO ladies. No more Bali trips with captions like, "Manifesting abundance." I heard she had to sell her Porsche to pay off Daniel's lawyer fees. And suddenly, her high society friends weren't texting anymore. I didn't stop. When Daniel was down, I turned to get my kids back. I filed for full custody of Lily and Noah. And this time, I didn't walk into court with a broken heart. I walked in with evidence. The nanny's detailed journal, showing Sarah's constant absences and leaving the kids with an unqualified maid. Photos from the doorbell cam, showing Sarah coming home at 2 to 3 a.m., never checking homework or preparing breakfast. The kids' school records. The teacher confirmed, asterisk, Dad is the only one who's attended every parent meeting in the last 6 months. Asterisk. My lawyer wasn't as expensive as Daniel's, but he was better. The hearing didn't take long. The judge sighed as she reviewed the case, then nodded. Full custody goes to Mr. Reynolds. Mrs. Sarah has visitation rights, if she can arrange it. And just like that, I got my kids back. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag the end that I didn't post on Facebook. But I'll tell you here, Daniel was sentenced to 6 years in prison with no bail. The company went bankrupt. The things Sarah once flaunted, CEO's wife status, her 100K Instagram followers, the Chanel bags, vanished as if they had never existed. I hear she's living in a one-bedroom apartment in Tacoma now. No car, no fame, no Daniel to lean on. Just her and the memories of what she once had. I don't text. No need. I used the remaining money to start a small business. Didn't need millions in investment. Just credibility and a few clients I knew from my freelance years. I work from home, have dinner with my kids every night, and take them camping on weekends. Lily's learning to paint. Noah loves Legos and math. They hug me at night, and that is so much more than I ever had with Sarah. A month ago, we went on a trip to Oregon. The ocean, a campfire, and the sound of my kids laughing across the beach. I posted a picture on Instagram. Me and my 2 kids, wind-blown hair, smiles from ear to ear. Caption: _karma's a silent killer. _***. I didn't tag anyone, but I knew someone would see it, and they would understand. Not all heroes need to get revenge with blood. Some just need to wait for the right moment and watch everything collapse in silence. The thing people don't tell you about revenge is that it doesn't always feel as good as you think it will. Sure, there's satisfaction in seeing the people who hurt you get what's coming to them. But there's something deeper, a hollowness almost, because at the end of it all, nothing really changes. The past doesn't go away. And the person you thought you were chasing down, it's not them anymore. It's just you. A few months after everything had gone down, Sarah showed up at my door. It was a chilly evening, and I was putting Lily and Noah to bed when I heard the knock. I wasn't expecting anyone, but when I opened the door, there she was, looking smaller than I remembered. She was standing there, eyes red, a few of her expensive designer clothes still hanging on her, but everything else was gone. The confidence, the spark, it was all stripped away. "I'm sorry, Jake. I'm so sorry," she said, voice trembling. "I never meant for it to go this far. I was wrong about everything. Please, can we talk?" I almost didn't know how to react. There she was, this woman who had everything. The one who betrayed me, used my kids, now begging me for forgiveness. I let out a sigh and motioned for her to sit, but I knew the answer already. "I don't think there's anything left to say, Sarah," I replied, my voice calm but firm. "You made your choices, and so did I. I don't owe you anything anymore." She pleaded for a while longer, talking about how she was sorry, how she realized her mistakes, how she wished she could go back and fix things. But I just sat there, watching her. I couldn't muster any empathy. Not for her, and certainly not for what she had done to my family. I stood up after a long silence, not even bothering to give her a second glance. "Goodbye, Sarah. You had your chance. I hope you learned from this." She left, and I never saw her again. And as much as I wanted to feel some sense of closure, some emotional weight being lifted, it didn't come. Because I wasn't the same man I had been when this all started. I was stronger now, more grounded. ####, Reddit asks, "Do you regret it?" A few days ago, I got a message in my inbox. Someone had linked my confession to another post, and it had gained some traction. It was a Reddit user asking the same question I'd been asking myself. *Jake, do you regret it? All of it. I took a deep breath, thinking about how to answer. I wasn't expecting this kind of question, not this far removed from everything, but it was a fair one. I typed out my response. I regret trusting her. I regret believing that she cared. I regret the way I let her manipulate me into thinking I didn't deserve better. But I don't regret standing up for myself, for my kids, for what was right. Sometimes you have to take a stand, no matter the cost. So no, I don't regret it. Not one bit. I hit send. I wasn't looking for validation. I wasn't seeking sympathy. But I wanted people to understand. Revenge isn't about hatred. It's not about being cruel or wanting to cause pain. It's about reclaiming control over your life. It's about not letting anyone, not even the people who were supposed to love you, make you feel small, worthless, or powerless. ###the final lesson. As I sat with my kids later that evening, I thought about everything that had happened. I thought about how much I'd been through, how much I'd lost, and how much I'd gained. I used to believe that revenge was just about hurting someone back for the pain they caused you. That was the way the world worked. Eye for an eye. You hurt me, so I hurt you. But that's not true. Revenge isn't about hatred. It's about proving you're no longer a victim. It's about saying, asterisk, I won't be treated this way. I won't let you destroy me. Asterisk. And in the end, that's what I did. I took back my power. I took back my life. That's why I don't regret it. Because standing up for myself, for my kids, was the one thing I could control. Everything else? That was out of my hands. So if you're reading this and you're going through something similar, let me tell you this. The road isn't easy. The world won't always hand you a clean break or a perfect resolution. But at the end of the day, you get to decide who you are. You get to decide what you're willing to tolerate. And that is power.